are we talking about?
That's it,
What?
Sean. We'll edit this into a clip that is usable.
There we go. What are we talking about today? What's up, AA Ron?
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
You're all right.
I'm a technological idiot.
You know,
I'm pretty
and
sure
I'm
it's no
over
new news
and
to
I'm over
anyone.
here with a 1960s cardboard deal, and Deepak's like, that's not working. That's not working. What's up,
So,
kids?
how are you guys?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see both of you.
It's
I
good to see
know.
you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
Well, Deepak, I think the last time I saw you was in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sean, I have to tell you this. I think we lost them at the Taj Mahal when Aaron and a bunch of us were there. And the weird
Yeah.
part is
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
the rickshaw driver calls me because their phones weren't working at that point. A rickshaw driver calls me and he says, "Apka dost mere paas hai," meaning your friends are with me.
There's this random white guy roaming around out here.
Okay, that's hilarious.
And some of the people I was taking care of were annoying enough where I asked him which ones. Can you describe them and I'll tell you if I need them back.
Which
Okay.
ones are they?
That's good. That is classic.
That was a great trip, though. And you know what? The funniest thing about that trip was when I got off the overnight bus into Bangalore, and I was supposed to meet you there, but you weren't coming in till later, and I didn't know where I was going. It was to your mom's house.
Uh-huh.
And then so I got the rickshaw, and you had to talk to him on the phone and try to tell him how directions to get there. He didn't speak a word of English, and, which is understandable. I didn't speak much Hindi, and so I just get in this guy's little tuk rickshaw whatever thing, and he takes me to your mom's house, and he just points up at a door, and I'm going, I have no idea where I am.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
No, I knock on the door, and your mom answers the door, and here's this, tall white guy standing there. I'm surprised she didn't hit me with a bat or something. But she brings me in and starts just making me all this food, and I'm just sitting there going, all I want to do is go to sleep.
Yeah. God, yeah.
But the food was delicious, and I couldn't say no.
Right. That would be improper.
How do I wind myself up in these places? I don't know.
Sean, it was awesome. Anytime I was late or I had to go to work or I was coming back to get Aaron, by the time I see Aaron, Mom had already made him food and he was eating on the dime.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there going, I don't know what to do with this. I'm full.
Man, that's awesome. Those are good problems to have right there.
Oh, it's classic. That's also the first day I was there in India, I got into a knife fight with a monkey.
Get out. Who won?
I did. Because I realized that I was bigger and more intimidating than the monkey.
Did the monkey have a knife?
No, so that might have been my advantage. But he had some very sharp, pointy teeth.
Yeah, they are. So I had one do that to me in Peru, jumped up on my shoulders and kept acting like it was going to attack me. It was kind of a weird deal. And I was just trying to figure out how to kill it in case it gave me rabies.
Yeah, right. Honestly, it was my very first morning there in New Delhi. And I was just walking out of the hotel where you and I stayed, Deepak. And I was going down to meet the rest of the group down at the fancy hotel that we weren't cool enough to stay in. But
Sean, we were like the help. God damn it!
That's all right.
We definitely were.
That's all right. You guys are still around.
So I walk out and then I see a monkey. I'd never seen a monkey in the wild before, So I was like digging through my bag to get my camera. I was like, I'm going to take a photo. And then the monkey like bows up on me like this, And I'm just like, wait, what? So instead of grabbing my camera, I grab my knife and I'm like, all right, monkey, let's go.
Yeah, let's play. Right. You want to play?
And so, so I came back at him. I was just like,
Took off
he
running.
ran away and I took his breakfast.
That's awesome.
I was like, I'll take your monkey girlfriend too if you don't mind yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun trip.
That's cool.
Where are you at right now, Aaron? You're still in Steamboat? Steamboat?
Yep, Steamboat Springs in Colorado. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and it's still dark outside. We got some snow just the other day, which was nice.
God, it's like 82 degrees right now in the middle of the night here. Like it's summer all over again. It just won't end.
I think it's supposed to get up to 70 today, but right now it's about 40 something.
That's sweet. Nice. Good for you.
Nice. It's my kind of habitat.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Deepak, what is our subject matter today?
I was going to talk to both of you about weird bar stories that y'all have, considering both of y'all have. Both of y'all.
How are we not going to get banned from YouTube? That would be the question.
Pretty sure we're going to.
Yeah. How weird are we going?
A little bit of censorship I can do.
Sean, you go first. I'm sure you've got better ones than I do.
I don't think so I'm going to do the innocent ones just to make sure we don't get knocked off of YouTube.
Okay.
So I opened this Irish pub in Oklahoma City, which most people truthfully didn't know what one was when I opened here. And it did real well. And we moved to another location and it was doing real well. But I was next door to where my wife was at the time. And her family had kind of bad luck owning bars, meaning they were either alcoholic, drug addicted, screwing around all the time, the normal gambling, the normal stuff. And I don't really do any of that. So one day she comes in and we're making bread for her side of the restaurant. And she goes to the restroom and comes back with a pair of tongs and a pair of panties. And she goes, "These were in the tree in the bathroom. What happened in there?" And I think that's pretty obvious what happened in there. Somebody had a better night than I did. I know that much. She literally didn't belong in this business because we're pretty tolerant individuals. Because we have to be. I mean, we're serving a product that changes your social structure and behavior. And then we can't be upset because then you behave differently.
Or poorly.
Right. So we never found the owner of that, but I'll start off with that one. I'm tagging you now, Aaron. You do yours next.
When I first got to Steamboat here, I was running this bar, and I don't remember why, but I was actually behind the bar serving drinks. I think somebody probably called in. Whatever, you know how that goes.
No way. No.
So I had 2 pint glasses in this hand and one in this hand, and I'm taking them out to a table, and this wasted guy just comes walking back behind the bar. I didn't know what to do, so I just kicked him in the nuts. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I just wanted to use the phone." It's like, no, that's not how this works. Stay on that side of the bar, you idiot.
Wow. God.
See, those relatively normal stories.
Yeah, well, we're just getting warmed up is all that's happening.
Oh, yeah, we're just getting going, man.
Yeah. So I think the biggest stories were probably from when I was younger because I was a little more out there. So I used to drink in this area called Westport in Kansas City, which most other restaurant people did after we got off work. And there was this kind of weird hairy dude that would wear low cut shirts, but had hair coming up out of his back and stuff, just kind of gross. But he was always around, and he owned a little shop in this like haberdashery center called the Flea Market. And so everybody knew him. All of us in the restaurant business all knew each other. And then one day I see a news report that he's been arrested under suspicion of being a serial killer. And you can't make this up. And he would invite people over to his house and offer you some illicit white powdered drug. And when you lean over to snort some of that, he'd hit you with a baseball bat and you wake up in his bed connected to electrodes and all this stuff. And then he slowly poisons you and kills you and feeds you to his dog. You can't even make this up.
Oh my
All
God.
of us ran around in the same area together. He would always invite us back to his house, and I did have a preference for that substance. And thank God, some way or another, I never said yes. And I'm not saying I hung out with a guy that ended up being a serial killer, but it sounds like I hung out with a guy that ended up being a serial killer. How about that one?
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
Speaking
Back
of the
to you.
white powdery substance,
Right, exactly.
what was it? 2 nights ago, I got off work and I went to go get a slice of pizza across the street on my way home, and then I had to take a crap, so I was in the bathroom, and I'm in the stall, and this guy comes in, and he's wanting to do the white powdery substance,
Right.
and he's like, "Are you snorting or shitting?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to take a crap, man. Give me a second."
Okay, that was good.
And he's like, "You liar!" I was like, "No, I'm not." I was like, "He's like, I'm gonna wait and see who this is," and I actually knew the guy.
Of course you did.
And I was like, "Hey, man, it's me, dude." And he's like, "Oh, hey, you want a bump?"
Right, exactly.
I was like, "Can I wash my no, for one thing, but can I wash my hands, please?" You know? I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I was like, I don't partake in that stuff." He's like, "You
Right.
liar!" And I was like, "I'm not lying, dude. I'm
Right.
probably the one guy in Colorado who doesn't." You know, I didn't even smoke weed, dude.
Hey,
All I wanted to do was get a slice of pizza and go home.
I don't want to be involved in this. I had a guy follow me around all night one night trying to give me some same
Yeah.
issue. And for those of you who don't understand, substances are around in every bar and restaurant that you're aware of, and so's weed and about anything else you could ever want. And if you are working, it's very difficult to be in the party. I have to be at the party working it to keep coherent and count money and keep an eye on folks, because really you're like an adult babysitter. And numerous times people offer you things that you generally don't want, but they're inebriated or intoxicated to some point, and you're just trying to get through them. Once again, I just need some pizza and go to the bathroom.
Like, that's all I want. It's just a slice of pizza.
Right. So I think most of my weird stuff happened when I shared a building with my wife, Kathy. And so one night I'm going into the bathroom because our child seats were in there. It was the only place we could store them. And some lady walks up behind me and she's like, "Can I come in with you?" And I go, "No, I'm just getting some child seats." And she goes, "Oh, well, you don't need the child seats for what we're going to do." And I go, "My wife's like 20 feet away." And she goes, "I don't care." Literally, "I don't care." And I go, "Well, I do. I just got to go get a seat and come back out so I don't die tonight." People don't have any idea how much restraint we all have when we look like we have no restraint.
Well, you learn in this industry, you learn to kind of just roll with it,
Right.
you know? But the last thing I heard before I quit bartending was I was walking around the corner of the bar there. And again, one of the bartender, I was the manager there, and I don't know why I was bartending, but you know how it goes.
Right.
And I come around, it was like a L-shaped bar, and I come around the corner of the bar, and I just heard this girl say to the guy that she was sitting next to, she said, "I'm not going to do you both this time, because last time that really hurt." And I just stopped, and I was like, I thought I'd heard it all.
Yeah. It's amazing they can actually top what was without a doubt the top of top.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, normally things don't faze me. I've seen and heard many things, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Called the police many times. I had donuts thrown at me the other day. That was neat. But yeah, I caught this guy
animals on this bar, Aaron?
He like the little white powdery donuts.
Mhm.
He threw a Pepsi at me, and then he started throwing donuts at me as I'm chasing him down the street. And then I called the cops, and he went to jail.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, so I stopped and I looked at this couple sitting there, and she goes, "Oh, did you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of hard not to."
And now I can't unhear it, so I'll be thinking about that the rest of the night.
Brain, you know. And then they're like, "Hey, do you want to have a drink with us?" I was like, "No, Absolutely not. I want
Okay,
nothing to do with this whole situation.
oh my God.
Yeah, that was probably the strangest thing I've heard in a bar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so the other thing that I would throw in there is so we see business people at their best and at their worst, and people at their best and at their worst, and we see them when things are working good and when things are working terrible. And what I always tell people is I see couples come together, fall in love, get married. One of them's having an affair and has the audacity to bring that person into my place like I don't know their spouse.
Right.
And then when I see the two of them later in the week, you're like, man, don't include me in your thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And just as a matter of observation, the new person always looks like the old person, just 10 years younger. Like everybody's got a style that they're going for. But I don't want to be in the middle of that. But this leads me to another thing. And then I see the divorce and then the new one come along, and that divorce. I've had people get divorced in my places or ask for a divorce in my places. And these are wealthy people. So they're putting like if it's a husband doing it, he's putting his wife on the line knowing full well she won't make a public scene. And the best one that happened, right, is somebody here in town that owns a huge insurance company. They're nationwide. They're not just here in town. And he brings his wife in and he tells her before they order any food that he wants a divorce, thinking she'll get up and leave, right? And then you can call the hookers. I mean, you can call your other girlfriend. She gets a couple of tears drop, and I know the look because it's happened that many times. I know the look. And then she orders an appetizer, a salad, an entree, a couple of sides, a dessert, an after dinner drink, all of it, and makes this guy suffer. And then she gets up and leaves. And he said, I'm sorry about that. And I go, no, you're not. But I tell you what I just saw her do, she is going to crucify you. You better just write her a check right now.
You better just sign off. Yeah, whatever you want, you give it to her.
Yeah, but why would you include me in your bad choices in life? I mean, literally. And I'm sure bar business wise, because I've owned pubs. I haven't really owned bars. So they're a little bit different. There's not so much.
I work for you at your pub.
Yeah. And there's not so much telephone interaction, Like now, your age, you guys could get laid every night just swiping left or right, especially in a play. Right.
I think that's how it works, but I couldn't figure out how to work Zoom. So
Aaron needs a little more classes for how to use these applications, and then we can get him on the road.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you an Aaron story. So we're out to lunch somewhere, and we're getting ready to leave. And when Aaron was young, he didn't have as much hair. Very good looking young man, and women really liked him. Women, you are still good looking, Forrest Gump. I just can't see you through the deal. And this waitress walks up to our group in front of everybody and goes, "Hey, I've never done this before, but I wanted to give you my number."
Oh.
To Aaron. And he was like, "Well, that was really nice." Just put it in his pocket and walked on out, because it probably happened every day back then. I'm trying to remember the actor you resembled when you're, this would be like 15 years ago.
Russell Crowe.
There you go. And then the girls were on him, and he literally looked like Russell Crowe's twin or brother.
Hey, I think when I met Aaron, like maybe 2012 or something like that, he had like really short hair and
it was short cropped, and I was clean shaven, and and he was a youth pastor. That was big. I did not expect you to be able to throw out Bible verses to anybody at any given moment. I was like, we are the most unusual group that run in this business, because most everybody's well educated, contrary to popular belief. Yeah, they think we're all disgusting idiots, and it's like no, some of us are actually educated.
The only time I used to notice that was when I was at a strange bar and I didn't know people there, and that is when I'd be like, "Oh, like this group that I usually hang out with, just like you, Erin, and the rest of those,
Right.
they all were like normal, so it didn't really bother me. When I would go to those places, they would just bring me in, then they'll be like, "This is one of the good ones. Let him sit at the bar." I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Remember, so I've got a funny Sean story.
Yep. Uh-oh.
And so the girl I was seeing at the time wound up working next door at Kathy's place.
Oh, wow.
And I was sitting at the bar, and she walks by, going to the bathroom. And you were like, "Wow, did you see the legs on that one?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my girlfriend." And I was like, "Hey, no offense, she's got some nice legs. That's true."
I'm not blind. I'm just old. See, that's why the other one followed me into the bathroom. Not your girlfriend, but the other girl.
Yeah, she didn't follow you anywhere, but
So the things that I would tell anybody listening that don't know anything about this business, everybody sees this job from the other seat. Like you're on the other side. Hell, I want to do this job if that's all I saw. But really, there's some odd wrangling, and your hours are really strange, and your sleep schedule's really strange. But you do, in 1 year, get to live the experience most people want to live their entire lives if you want to. Because I think that's fair. The opportunities are abundant and everywhere, but that's how you also burn out pretty quick. You know, so I'm the most boring. Well, I don't bartend much anymore. I mean, I don't even know how much my stuff costs. I mean, truthfully, I don't know. I just do the books and come in the morning and make bread, and I'm a salad guy at night. But it's but I had my day, so I didn't miss anything.
Well, when
did Aaron stop bartending?
That's what he said. You
Huh.
bartend at all anymore?
No.
Wow,
I've done some security work here and there, you know, just for nightclubs and stuff like that.
Right.
The best one, the weirdest one, was there was this club that opened up. It was a Mexican style venue, you know, but they would do Latino night, and I was like, okay, that's creative because you're a Latino restaurant. But
isn't that every night? Right.
No, they would do it once a week, and I would go and do security for them because the people that they had doing security, one of them got stabbed with a screwdriver.
Holy shit! Wow.
And let me tell you, this is a story you should not tell your mother. Because I did. She was like, "I don't like you doing this," but they paid really good cash just right there at the door.
Yeah, my favorite people.
And it was all a bunch of Nicaraguans or, you know, Peruvians or whatever, but they're all like 4 foot tall.
Right. Yeah.
And there was me and one other guy doing the security, and we were the only two white guys in the place.
And you look like Sasquatch with that beard.
Yeah. So, and so the first night I show up there to work, they're like, "Do you have like a shirt that says security or something? We want them to know who you are." And I was like, "Trust me, they'll know who I am." I'll get my point across really fast.
So
I never really had any issues. I mean, I had to walk a few people out a couple of times, but you know, I didn't get stabbed with a screwdriver or anything, you know.
Right. God, that's crazy. Yeah, somebody would have to know you to do that because that's so violent. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, that's ridiculous.
So the only other thing that I would say that I think happens regularly, because even here we have a huge homeless problem in Oklahoma City now. And they are in our neighborhood rolling through Nichols Hills, and nobody's still doing anything to help anybody. So we just kind of got to figure out a safe way to deal with them. But I try to be like, if you just need food, I'm cool with it. Just come to the back door and I'll get you taken care of. And so the actor Brad Pitt came into my restaurant in Kansas City on New Year's Eve, but he was in the middle of doing a movie. So he had dreadlocks and a long leather jacket, and he was all greasy and looked like he'd been up for a few days. And
go to the back, please.
Right. So I stop him at the door and I go, "Hey man, if you just want something to eat, go to the back." And he's like, "No, I'm meeting some friends of mine." I'm like, "No, really, just go around back. I'll get you taken care of. It's no big deal." Because we are oddly compassionate for the business we're in. And he goes, "No, really, I'm here." And he said the guy's name. It's a guy I went to high school with. And I'm like, "God, you got to be kidding me." So I go over and sit him down, and I still don't know it's him. They're eating, and he's moving all of his food around with a fork because he can't get anything down. And another customer goes, "Hey, can I get his autograph?" And I go, "You already don't allow that here. You can't bother anybody." I said, "Who is he?" And then I figured out who he was, and the next morning he was on Time Magazine Sexiest Man Alive on the cover. And I'd almost thrown him out of my place. And they called me to get a quote about him. And I, if you're ever talking to the news, you have to say, you can't print this. And I just assumed a little bit there, and I was wrong. And I said, man, I don't know what the deal is, but his friends need to look out for him. He was on about a 3-day roll. And if he keeps this up, he's going to be dead in a couple of years. Guess what they printed?
Of course.
And I had calls from LA, New York, all these places as if I were important. But the thing is, I stuck to what I said because I go, hey, look, I've been doing this a long time. This is what I'm seeing, and you all are not helping him by trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
You're just not. That's just not the way it's working. But he was a nice enough guy. But man, he was
rough, huh?
Yeah. And we all know the look. You're just kind of like, damn, the ghost eyes, the whole 9 yards.
Kind of looks a bit like me.
I will say, I think he looked worse than any time I ever saw you. I saw you when you've been out for a little bit. So
yeah. Well, that's what I would have friends that I would get a day off. It was after I quit working with you and I started the place down in Bricktown.
Right.
And my friends that would come in there, they were regulars. It was a good soccer bar. I'd be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, kind of like what you do, but just watch soccer games and pour people Guinness.
Right.
And I would get a day off and they'd be like, hey, let's go out tonight. I was like, you don't realize what I do for a living. I go out for a living. That's what I do. I'm going to stay home.
And I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to eat a whole pizza.
I'm just going to sit on my couch and that's going to be the end of it,
Yeah. And I'm going to eat food that's hot. Not been sitting on a plate for an hour because I got busy right after I got it.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there going like this, trying to get a spoonful at a time,
Right. My big thing is
enjoy my dinner.
It is. People don't understand when you got to visit with people all night for a job. Really, you just like to be quiet on your day off. I usually go like now. I'm off 2 days a week, which has been 10 years since that's happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have been in every museum there is in Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's very cool.
By myself. It's awesome. Nobody talks to you. Nobody bothers you. But so what I think the thing that, because I know we're probably well over our 30 minutes. One of the things that I would look at closing with is, for me, is everybody wants to own a bar or a restaurant until you own a bar or a restaurant.
And then you just want to get out of it.
Right. And it's like owning a yacht or a boat. You envision all of these things, but the reality is I clean the bathrooms every day.
Yeah.
And if you walked in and saw the blowouts that I have to clean up that somebody left behind, and I'd like to do it as a coffee table book, but nobody really wants to see that.
No.
And I've got gloves and a mask and everything on, bleach everywhere. And that's the reality, because
that is exactly what you do as a bar owner.
Right. And much like you go, why am I bartending tonight? Oh, somebody else called out again. Same BS. But that part, at 61, I still enjoy what I do, but I am on my pathway out, undoubtedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, in closing, I'll say this, Sean. You taught me everything I know about how to run a bar.
Is that good or bad?
A little bit of both. Working.
He was trying to be nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Working here was amazing, but I learned so much from your knowledge on how you do things, how to run a small, efficient place.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really helped me succeed in life later on. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, you killed it down at Skinny's. I mean, that was the opening of openings down there, especially with the World Cup stuff. It was dynamite.
Oh gosh, that was. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah. My first St. Patty's Day in Oklahoma was that way, and I was like, I don't think we can do this twice legally. I don't think the police are going to let us do this again.
Well, I remember there was that one St. Patty's that I worked there, and we did the U-Haul bar.
Wow, back the U-Haul bar.
Me and Dee Dee back there. And the only way you were allowed in the U-Haul was if you personally knew us. Everybody else had to sit and wait for a table to open up.
That's right. And it's a short list on that. Because isn't that the funniest stuff in the entire world? All right. Hey, Deepak, take us out, my man.
I showed up at 9 o'clock that morning and left about 5 o'clock the next morning. Yeah, something like that.
Brutal, my friend. Brutal. It's good to see you, Aaron.
It was a blast. Yeah, always good.
Buddy.
This was awesome. We should do this sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right. Anytime.
Yep.
Take us out, Deepak.
All right. Thank you guys so much. That was Sean and Aaron's bar stories. Thank you. We got Aaron like an hour early.
More than that, buddy. I'm going back to bed.
He's still out from last night.
I believe that.
All right, you guys. Take it easy. I'll see you.
Guys get some rest.
Guys. Good to talk to you. All right, bye.